So many people are obsessed about what they want to achieve and how they're going to get it. They forget about how they feel in the journey. Welcome to Absolutely Right, the very first graphology-based podcast show in India. My name is Aditi Surana. I am a graphologist, a high-performance coach, and host of the show. Now, being a high-performance coach, I get these questions a lot. Aditi, will you get me my results as soon as possible? How fast will you get it? How long will we take? What exactly do I have to do? As if the process is only and only the mean to achieve that final glorious goal. In a way, our society has trained us to do that, isn't it? In our schools, we were evaluated on the basis of our results, not how much you enjoyed that subject, how much you liked doing other research around it. What else did you read on that topic? No, nobody bothered about it. Did you reproduce what was told to you as a result or not? Was the only criteria. After many years of doing this, today when we look at our professional worlds, we only look at the numbers. How many people are following this influencer? Oh, then he or she is worth being followed. For some people, it's about the great concerts and having a great fan base, and not about the riyaz and the connection that happens in the process. During the lockdown, people who had processes that they were nurturing, like baking, singing, or anything that they felt committed to, could sustain with more happiness than those who are only and only concerned about the results. And that's why process can become a life-transforming tool in your hand. This fight between process and result is the main criteria to decide whether you really feel happy doing what you do or do not. Okay, for example, people who love their music can find their enjoyment just doing the riyaz, which is a process. And if they get to a great concert, that whole experience becomes better. But that does not mean they do not enjoy their music when they're practicing alone. On the Absolutely Right podcast platform, we have invited many people who have been committed to the process that they enjoy and eventually also created the results, achieved the target, and became the high performer. It's my secret mission, I feel, to really showcase those kind of people who have stayed committed to what is their version of the truth, what is their process, where they come alive and feel lit up no matter if anybody is celebrating them or not. And while doing that, through those conversations, we constantly talk about the process being the hero. Have you experienced processes like that? When you start baking, when you start singing, when you start painting, the time stops. You absolutely have no clue how many hours have passed by before you realize that, oh my God, I think I should eat. Now, if you have experienced those moments, you're lucky. This concept is called flow. An Austrian-American researcher, Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, and his team studied people who experienced this absorption into the process. They called it flow. Every person they interviewed said something like, I was in a zone, I was in a flow when I was doing that activity. And they picked up that word and coined the term called flow. State of flow, where the process becomes the outcome in itself. Have you heard of this Japanese concept called ikigai? They say it is the reason to wake up in the morning. No matter what you do, no matter what you achieve, your reason to wake up in the morning and feel excited to get to work one more time cannot be in the result. It has to be in the process. And that process is what we are referring to. In Eastern philosophy, we call it karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. Whether you agree with karma theory or not, this one concept is really powerful, where Krishna talks about how can you stay connected to your action is more important than you being invested and interested and obsessed with the results. I meet so many people who decide to achieve one big thing in their life and they run towards it, they dash to that point, and when they reach there, they do not know what to do after that. And that is because they have no clue what is the process underneath that success, what they love to do. Have you seen people who do everything in their capacity to lose weight, and the very moment they achieve that target, they forget about the process, they forget about their healthy living, and they go back to where they started in no time? And you might have seen it with so many different people in different walks of life, because process is not what we celebrate. We are not taught to celebrate the process, and that's why it becomes really crucial. Being a professional whose passion has turned into her business, I must confess that every single time I get to analyze handwriting, and no matter who's sitting in front of me, a CEO, a president, it does not matter. The fact that I have a handwriting sample to analyze brings a smile on my face, and that satisfaction I feel is invaluable. Nothing can beat that amount of involvement in your work. If you're new here, then let me tell you that our every Friday episode ends in a journaling question. Why, you ask? Because it is important that when you want to change your perspective, you internalize it by looking for examples in your life, by looking at connection points, and then making slow and steady changes. Now, the journaling here is done through a method called GRAPHO-JOURNALIng. So it's a 3-step process. It begins with a question, but before you answer or respond to that question, you got to take out some time to do the Kama Sutra S-stroke practice. Then you go and set a timer for 15 minutes to write your response in your own handwriting. That's the process. Here, the Kama Sutra S-stroke practice allows your mind to become calmer, connect with your own body, really deal with all the unnecessary thoughts, and bring or induce the calmness, the connection, the creativity that is otherwise missed in our everyday life. So try the stroke. There's a link mentioned below for you to learn it properly. So make sure that you actually take out time to learn the stroke the way we have spoken about it. So let me get to today's journaling question. It begins with you thinking about 2 or 3 things or 2 or 3 times in your life where time stopped as you got involved in something. You got so interested that you didn't remember to eat or to go home, or you just got absorbed in that world of that activity or that passion or that hobby that you had. And ask yourself, when I was involved to that degree in this activity, which aspects was I experiencing? And the second question, what can I do to recreate these aspects? It's interesting when you look at this particular idea, because when you think about traveling as your hobby, or if that is your answer, that you forgot the track of time, and if you can't travel today because of the pandemic and everything that is happening around us, then you may think that you might not be able to enjoy the aspects at all. But that's not true. Traveling may have aspects like exploration, walking into the unknown, having the adventure to discover things that you have absolutely no clue how to resolve, talking to strangers. All of these aspects can be achieved by engaging in different activities, walking around your own local areas and figuring out things that you have never discovered before. The food, the culture, the actual conversations with strangers. You don't have to go somewhere else to achieve all these things. But we do not think in this manner because we believe the result of traveling is the only way we can experience the aspect, the process of traveling. And this is where removing the process from the result allows you to connect with yourself through the activities that you pick up with or without achieving the results. Think about it. This is a game changer. Every high performer spoke about this whole idea of having something that they're working on throughout their life. If you like the perspective on performance and process and high performance in today's conversation, if you want to know more about my work, you can check out my website, aditisurana.com. If you thought the S-stroke practice and journaling was a cool approach, which it is, but if you want to know more about that, you can join our social initiative which we created for anti-anxiety based conversation. The link is aditisurana.com/lockdown21. It's absolutely free for you to go through all the 21 beautiful conversations and deal with your anxiety with the help of journaling. If you're already practicing the S-stroke and if you wonder whether it is going correct or not, and if you want to get it checked, please tag my Instagram handle at Aditi Surana, and my team will give you feedback on the movement and breathing and everything that you're doing in between. I'm going to leave you with today's journaling question. I'll see you next Wednesday with one more conversation around graphology and personalities. Till then, happy writing.